I think the term climate change might have outlived its usefulness. I mean, politically, we have real problems with this term. For instance, we've just elected a president of the United States who doesn't believe in climate change. So we can use the term as much as we want as scientists, but if we're talking to the political class, they're going to tell us they don't think it exists. Well, a lot of times people just argue over terms. They niggle over words. Well, we don't want to be doing that. Climate change, okay, whatever word we use for it, is a crisis. So perhaps we need another word. Perhaps we need a better term that better describes what the problem is. And we won't run into these, little political games with which term we should use. Well, I have a suggestion for a better term. I mean, one problem with the word climate change is people can say, well, it's changing all the time. Climate has changed in the past. It changes naturally. Well, that's all true. So it doesn't change the fact that we have human-caused climate change now, and it's a real problem. But, we have to consider these things when we pick our terms. And politicians are very good at picking terms. So the nuance is just what they want to say. And I'm not sure that climate change does that. And let's take the other common term, global warming. Well, global warming, it doesn't sound that bad, does it? Look at me. I live here in interior Alaska. It was minus 30 just a few days ago. Global warming isn't really quite as scary as it might be, if you're just looking at the term itself. And let's think about the nuances of the term. Warming is something, the word as we use it in normal speech means something like, shall I warm your bath? Let's warm up this room and turn on the thermostat. Hey, put on a nice jacket and get warm. It's usually a positive thing. So having this term be the definitive phrase that's used to describe the hazards that affect us as we talk about, climate change is kind of a problem because it sounds nice and cozy. What we need is a better term. What we need is a term that really describes the nature of the problem and a term that strikes a little bit of fear into people's hearts. So if they're thinking about climate change and global warming, they're not going, well, that'll happen in 300 years. I don't care. We need a term that says this is happening right now and it's an issue right now. Well, I've got a term. I've come up with a new term. Now I'm borrowing it from the internet where it's commonly used to describe everything getting worse once you sign up for a website. For instance, if you sign up for Netscape, it's great to start with, and then suddenly they got new fees and new rules. It's not so good. And any websites like that. So the term is shittification. It's getting worse. Everything is getting worse. Hey, what we've got going on now is climate enshittification. Everything is getting worse. We've got hurricanes, worse than they used to be. We got forest fires, worse than it used to be. We got floods in places like Spain, worse than they used to be. Everything's getting worse. We've got heat waves, worse than they used to be. We've got die-offs in the Great Barrier Reef in Australia and reefs all around the world. You know what? It's worse than it used to be. Everything is getting worse. It's climate enshittification. That's our problem. Climate enshittification. That's our problem. And when you hear that term, you don't go, oh, warming, that's not so. Enshittification sounds really bad because it is. Climate enshittification. Climate enshittification is as bad as it can be. It's the worst it can be. Climate enshittification. That's the problem we're facing now in the world. And that's why we have to do something about it right away. Because who wants everything to get worse? Who wants enshittification of the climate? Hopefully nobody. Okay, have a great day.